and welcome to another edition of Sit Down with the Director. I'm Robin Phillips, and I'm here today again with our Director of Schools, Mr. Bobby Cox. Good morning, Bobby.
Morning. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
And you?
Doing very well.
Yes.
Very well.
Okay. Well, we have had a busy start to school. We're just now getting a new show on because we've had lots of things going on.
That's right.
But we do want to give everybody a little bit of an update on where we are as far as student enrollment and what all's been going on for the last month or so. Okay. So if you could share a little bit about that, that would be great.
Okay. Well, great. Yeah, schools started obviously pretty smooth. Hadn't had too many headaches as we started up, so happy about that. Our enrollment numbers are a little bit off this year, and we usually run about 100 up or 100 down every year. So we started off with a pretty high enrollment because we rolled everybody over, and then we have to, we have some students who move over the summer or move schools or to another state or to another community. So we have to go through all that and get our numbers. So we're about 63, 65, I think, today as 9/20 as we're filming this. Plus 160 more of our pre-K students that aren't in that count. So all in all, we still hover around the 6,500 mark, give or take a few students, and that's where we've been for a while. But for funding-wise, we're about 100 students down than we were last year. So we just have to, that's no way to really control that. You just have students come in, and normally we have a pretty sizable exiting class with our seniors and a pretty sizable kindergarten class coming in, so it balances itself out. So, but all in all, everything's been going pretty well.
Okay, one thing that we did different this year that I think probably a lot of parents liked, or maybe they didn't, but we thought that it was a good first year rollout, was our online enrollment.
Oh yes, yeah.
And we did have, I think, a lot of participation in that.
We did. We had a lot of it, participation. We hoped for 50% participation. Actually, we had more than that, around 60, 65% as a total district. We had some schools in the 70% range. So it was promoted well. Hope more folks will take advantage of that. We even opened the schools early, on some nights and at open houses where parents could come in if they didn't have internet access at home to plug that in. And our goal is for that material to, unless there's changes, to just continue to roll with the student every year. So parents can go in and make changes before school starts, fill out a majority of that paperwork before they get there. Hopefully it'll be easier on us inputting all of that, easier on the parent having to sign all of those forms when they get here on registration day. There's still some things that we'll have to get on there, and we'll work on that. And there's still some forms that we'll need parents' signature on. But all in all, I think it was a great success, and happy, Katrina Haley worked hard on that, and we all kind of pitched in and trying to standardize forms. Everybody wants their own forms, to look like they want it. But all in all, I think it went really well.
Okay, so and saved, I'm sure, lots of trees.
Yeah, saved a lot of paperwork, that's for sure. A lot of time on our end, having to input when you've got 6,500 students and having to input all that information. It's a heavy lift. So
yeah,
it worked out well.
Lots of staff time too to do all that. Once when a lot of it is repetitive stuff that is the same from year to year. I know as a parent, and you as a parent too, I'm sure you did it, I did it, and it was, if you did not do the online enrollment, I would definitely recommend you do that next year because it is very user-friendly, instructions on how to do it. And then of course if you don't have computer access, they do have that at the school, or we are providing still the paper copies as well as needed. So
well, and also with that, another byproduct of that is, sometimes parents lose their login information, and there was instructions, and there's still instructions on our website about how to get that. But, if you've done the online enrollment, then you're in our portal, parent portal, where you can access your students' grades and attendance and all of those things, which we hope that they'll do. So it's kind of twofold. One is it's a time saver, and one, it gets parents hopefully more engaged in their students' daily routine. So.
Okay, well, that sounds great. We also did start this year with a new strategic plan from the board. I know we talked about that last year on this show, about some of the aspects, there being 7 aspects of that, and some of them involved programming, a lot of them, I guess, majority did.
All right.
And so how have we managed to move from the plan to action steps for those plans this year?
Right.
Can you talk about that?
Sure. Well, first couple of goals were more academic in nature, obviously, ELA, English Language Arts, and math, and setting our academic program and the goals we have for ourselves. And we're starting to get test scores back now, and we've seen a lot of improvement. We've seen a lot of improvement where we've put our time in, for sure. English Language Arts, we've improved pretty dramatically there, especially our early grades, 2nd grade English Language Arts. But we've put a lot of time in on K-3 reading and are seeing the fruits of that labor. Our math scores are off a little bit, so that's pulling us down. So we're having to probably retool a little bit on math and see what we're doing there to make sure we pull those back up. Science scores were very good as well. As a whole, our social studies scores were, marginal. So, biggest thing we have to do is really work on our math, is from academics. Our social emotional learning, I know you've been heavily involved in that. That's been going, I think, pretty well around the schools. That's something that's been needed in our system. And, there's a lot of issues that students have outside of just the academic day, and we're trying to address those through that plan. And I think y'all have done a great job with, rolling that out, and people are, positive and recognizing positive behavior and making sure that we reinforce that good behavior of students and reward them for doing well, and then supply them with the support that they need, ongoing. So that's been going well. Our academies at the high school, Mr. Walker said that is going very well. They're making a few little tweaks to the academies and starting to roll that out to students for the coming year. But our freshman academy is going well. The block scheduling is going well. More time on task for students and teachers in the day. So that's been a good part of our strategic plan. So yeah, as far as everything's rolling so far, pretty good. Of course, that's a 5-year plan, and we'll monitor that as we go.
Okay, and if anybody's interested in seeing that full plan, we do have it on our website, and it is broken down by the different goals, as well as the plan of how we're going to reach those goals.
That's right.
In 5 years. So
That's right.
year 1 through obviously 5. So,
right.
so that's something that we'd be happy for people to look at and see exactly what we're doing. You mentioned, and of course, not everybody probably knows what, I know we've talked about it on the show before, and you've talked about it many times, but block scheduling, for those people that aren't familiar with that, can you explain a little bit about how that's different from what we've done in the past?
Well, we've been on a traditional schedule, which is a traditional 7-period day and 56-minute classes, roughly. Well, block scheduling is, there's a 4x4 block. So you have 4 classes a day, and you alternate days. So you have an A day and a B day. So you don't have the same class every day, but it equals out in the end so that you get the same amount of instructional time. And the classes are longer. I think they're 80-minute or around 80-minute classes. So they're a little bit longer, more time on task. A student has more time in class to get deeper into subject matter. So that's been the change this year. And we went away from the hour lunch that we've had for several years, what we called an hour lunch, but it's really more like 45 minutes, where students had free time, and went back to a 4-period lunch schedule, which enabled us to get some more academic time during the day. So that seems to have gone really well, and it's hopefully will pay dividends in the future. Yeah,
so that sort of it's good for students because they maybe have 2 days to do a project or homework versus 1, and then they also have that more relationship building time with their class, and less time between classes that's lost throughout the day.
Right,
So
exactly.
It sounds like
less transition time, more instruction time.
Great. Also, we did want to talk a little bit about chronic absenteeism.
Right.
I know that is a big focal point for our accountability now, and also it is something that parents and students really need to know about because it's a big issue and it's something that does affect academics, and lots of research shows that it does create issues for students' success or failure. So it is something that I think would be great if you could explain a little bit more.
Right. Well, chronic absenteeism is something we've really focused on, and the state's focused on in the last year and a half, really. Now it's part of our accountability. It's 10% of the school and the district's accountability. And a student who is chronically absent is considered one who misses more than 10% of the school year. Not just unexcused absences, but excused or unexcused. So we've had to educate some people on what that really means, and if the common sense would say the less time that you're in the school building and in class, then the less that you're learning. So the more time that you're in class, then the more that you're learning. So we've chronically absent students, especially in the younger grades, K through 3, builds a deficit for them moving on academically. So if you miss 18 days during the school year, you're considered chronically absent. Doesn't matter if you are, have the flu or are just truant. You're out of class. So what we have to make sure and do is track that a little bit more closely. To make sure that students are in class a maximum amount of time as they can be. And I think we've seen that this year. Our attendance rates are up a little bit. If you have to go to the doctor, and we know things happen, students get sick, and obviously we don't want to promote coming to school when you're sick, obviously. But if you go to the doctor or the dentist for a regular appointment and can come back to school, then that helps. That's just more class time that you're in class. So it's a focal point, and we've tried to make it a focal point. And we track it every 20 days, and we also are trying to track teacher absence as well, because if you have teacher absence and student absent, and both are chronically absent, then you've got less learning going on. So that's just a big focal point this year, and will be ongoing. Yes, and will be ongoing. So.
And we do have, we're trying to put some things in place, mainly knowledge right now to do that. Right. But in the future, we will have more of a strict, actual truancy, tiered support system too. And I think that's rolling out now. But that's going to be something that's really going to be something that parents are going to need to know about, students are going to need to know about, so that they can avoid issues.
That's right. Well, and we curbed that a little bit last year. We changed our tardy and sign-out policy, and that seemed to have really worked. And we had less students coming in late, signing out early, more students in class. And then with this, this is really a state law. It goes into effect. The changes in 2018, but we're starting that process now so that we can educate people and educate parents. But the bottom line is, you need to be at school every day. And if you're at school every day, then you don't have to worry about being chronically absent. And if you are sick or something does come up, or health issue or family issue or death in the family, then those things are excusable. But we just need to make sure that students get their work, and that they are trying to be at school every day and not out just taking some days off. So.
And I do know that September is National Attendance Month.
That's right.
And I'm sure we probably have some stuff at our schools and hopefully on our website. We're having
social
some
media
issues with getting some things on the website right now, but about that. And of course, please look that up. There's a lot of good information on attendance and the benefits that pays off just by being at school whenever you can.
Exactly.
So be sure and look at that if you can.
That's true.
Finally, this week, I think we do have a special week at the high school. It's our homecoming. So I guess anybody who has a high school student or even, hometown football team that wants to come out and support the team on Friday night. We'll have our homecoming game and all those festivities.
Right.
Is there anything else you would like to share about that?
Well, homecoming is a special time, especially for the high school and for our community. And we want everybody to come out and support the parade. Parade's at 1:30 downtown. Looks like the weather's going to be good. So we hope everybody will come out and support our students. They've been working hard on their floats and having a good time this week, to support our football team and our athletic program. And it's just a good time for our community. I was talking to another board member from another county last night, and they said they stopped doing the parade in their community. And I told them we still do that, and we want to continue to do that because it's really a community event. We have one high school, and we're very well supported by the community. So we hope everybody will come out and support our students and come to the game and have a good time with homecoming.
Okay, well, everybody come out to the game and see the floats and the attendance and all those special things that go with that, and be sure and tune in for another program next time.